Good morning, everyone. So we start our today's reading session, and we are reading book Win Your Inner Battles. And that time last week, Thursday, we were reading about chapter which is taking responsibility, like how we should be taking responsibilities because it is all about our thinking, our patterns, like how we deal with the situation. So we are reading how to deal with this difficult situation. So next time you encounter a situation that does not make you happy, do one of the next three things. So obviously, not all the time happy situations or happy people will be entering, but how to deal with it by taking responsibility is the real crux. So the first thing, how we can do it. One is change the situation. So sometimes we can change a situation. If you have a conflict at work with coworker, you could try to resolve that situation by taking responsibility for what happened and proposing a solution. You can change your current undesired position. Now remember, we can only change so much. If you work in the environment where office politics and backstabbing is the norm, it is unlikely you can amend the culture unless you are at a particular position, like say senior manager or CEO. Now, in circumstances where you do not have any influence to change it, you can do the next one, following ones. So, one is the change where you take the responsibility, just resolve whatever, give the solutions if it is now not possible. Second, leave the solution. If you feel like you are in a situation that you do not like, leave it. For example, your job making you miserable, create a plan to leave the job. Do not storm into your manager's office and say, I quit because of you, because of all, giving complaints that because of these negative things. That only happens in movies. Start working on a plan and develop skills you might need to find another job. Believe in your abilities and do find something else. So, this one. Second is this option. Just stop, focus on yourself, plan it, get all the skills, and accordingly do. So, this is just job is a very common example, but we can apply it to everywhere. And now, the third one, very important, continue, but stop complaining to ensure your happiness. Now, to ensure your happiness, stop complaining. So, it is not for someone else, it is for you. Complaining is poisonous for your mind. Taking responsibility means that you accept things for what they are. Once you accept something, you should not complain. However, if you do find yourself complaining, take this a sign of not having accepted it yet. Because taking full responsibility means that you take even the negative things of your life as a learning experience. So, even when we are giving this perspective that all these things have come to teach me, but catch yourself if you are still complaining about it. Once you have taken action, accept the current situation. We often confuse taking responsibility with blaming ourselves. When you assume responsibility, you do not blame yourself. Everyone has a voice in his or her head that is extremely critical, and it can go like this. How could I be so stupid to, fall for this guy? I'm such an idiot for taking all these negative things from my boss. I knew I couldn't trust her. I'm such a loser. So there are certain things which are going in your mind. So do not worry. These thoughts are very common, but will become or prove unhealthy if you continue your life, your living in your current situation. So if you start looking life as a learning process, you will only gain from negative experiences in life. Thus, every mistake you make is a part of your learning process. So sometimes we even make the same mistake multiple times. This is still fine if you do not blame yourself. Okay, fine, learn from it, but do not blame. You do not deserve to be punished by yourself. Do not allow your negative thoughts to hold you back from living on. Most people blame themselves so much that they eventually quit doing stuff. For instance, they stop taking risks and consequently stop growing. If you do that, that means end of your personal development. So remember, it is not money that makes us happy. It is progress. And without action, there is no progress. Living a stress-free life all starts with taking responsibility and requires you to not blame yourself. So ultimately, it is like giving right meaning to the situation and taking it as a learning experience. But in that process, be gentle to your own self. So the next thing is analyze and improve. So there's one quote, for it is not death or pain that is to be feared, but the fear of pain or death. So rather than that particular incident, we create some negativity or negative thoughts or fears around it, and that is something much painful rather than sometimes a particular situation. So now, you would have heard of Stoicism is a school of philosophy that was founded by Zeno in Athens. Stoicism is based on the idea that negative emotions are caused by misjudgments. In other words, if you experience a negative emotion, any, such as fear, hurt, anxiety, it is because you did not make a correct judgment of the situation. So, of course, we understand all this is our creation because we are not able to give the right perspective to that particular situation. And it is said that misjudgments cause unnecessary worry. So, the Stoic philosophers believe that the goal of life is to achieve a state of happiness and tranquility. And ultimately, we all go towards it, that peace, that happiness, bliss. So, because fear is one of the biggest obstacles to reach to that state, the Stoics also wrote a great deal about fear. Some people think that what Stoic philosophers, such as there are many names, they wrote roughly 2000 years ago, is not entirely applicable to modern society. However, we are dealing with the same obstacles that they faced. Even though there is industrial revolution and the information age changed many things in the world, the way that humans behave and think is the still same. So even though the world has changed outside so much, our thinking, our brain, our patterns are the similar ones. So, in their philosophy, it is said, for what prevents us from saying that the happy life is to have a mind that is free, fearless, a mind that is placed beyond that reach of fear, beyond the reach of desire, that counts virtue, the only goods, baseless, the only evil, and all else but a worthless mass of things. So it is in their I mean the language is little different, but the whole thing is we really need to achieve that fearless and free mind to have the right perspective, right lens. That's what we always say, that your resourceful state of mind, your high vibration, high frequencies will be able to give right meaning to the particular situation and taking you towards the ultimate goal, which is happiness and peace. That's what. So basically, our misjudgments of the situation, they often cause unnecessary negative emotions in our mind. So without having all the facts, we jump to the conclusions and we decide that something is stressful, something is problematic. If we would only say ourselves, this situation makes me feel anxious, and however, we make things even worse than they are by running and hiding it from our fears, which causes even more anxiety. So our imagination goes wild, and before we know it, a small problem is turned into mountain that we cannot climb. So all that is again creation in your mind because of those constant thoughts, that constant, you know, the same, that filter of the stress or the anxiety or worry we apply to those situations, and we keep building in our head. And in reality, problem can be just simple. So this is about it was taking responsibility and analyzing what exactly is happening inside our head. And once we can analyze, we can of course improve on those aspects. And then tomorrow we are going to read about that we have been talking, like the chapter name is Do Not Worry About What You Cannot Control. So we really have read many in many books about this, how to let go of what we cannot control. So we will be reading the same. But now today we will move on to our next segment, which is guided meditation. And again, we will be keeping same thing in our meditation just to internalize what we are reading. So it is all good. I mean, it is all a new skill that to win internal battles, how we are developing right thought process. And in that, today's theme is taking responsibility completely of our thoughts and then changing it. So we start our guided meditation. Start sitting comfortably with your eyes closed. Focus on breathing. Take a deep breath in. Hold for a moment and slowly exhale. As you are inhaling, calm. As you are exhaling all the tension. Feel your awareness in this moment. Just notice your breathing, your heartbeat, and the stillness within. Now, say to yourself, this is my life. I am the creator of my choice. I am responsible for my thoughts, my actions, and my future. Without judging yourself, allow your mind gently observe the situation when you have blamed circumstances, other people, or luck. Simply notice them like clouds passing across the sky. And now imagine placing every excuse into a small balloon, and one by one Release those balloons.
Your body feels so stiff
One
and
by one, and feel lighter and say, today I choose ownership. Today I choose growth. Every decision I make shapes my destiny. I sense awakening inside you. Responsibility isn't a burden. In fact, it is the burden. Take one deep breath in. Bring this powerful intention into your day to day. And now, whenever you feel, try to come back to the present moment. Repeating tones continue. Cup your palms. Keep it on your eyes and face and open your eyes. And with this, we'll move on to our next segment.
Good morning, everyone. So, we are on the last segment of the day, and we have just started this week with another chapter, and I suppose a very relevant one, where we are focusing on things which we can control and how to win our inner battle by focusing on this important point. We have been reading the same topic in different ways in various other books, but still it is always a reminder because our mind starts adopting to a certain kind of pattern when we start losing out things on day-to-day basis. So then it becomes difficult for us to remember that why is my focus getting diverted? Because I've again forgotten this concept of the things which are in my control. So, with every new book, this revision is equally important and it helps us to keep us on track. It helps everyone to be on track so that we can follow in the same manner, the way we have been doing it. So, for this, again, this tool of affirmation plays a vital role because what happens, why do we lose the track? Because our mind is overruling our actions. And when we start following what our mind is only doing or saying, we again have no logic behind and we start following it. It's again going back that we control our mind and we are dictating how we want to accept, behave, and perform in our day to day life. So, for that, today we again go back to the affirmations. I'll be sharing my screen here. I request all of you to get ready with your journals so that again a set of new affirmations might be few which we have already written many times before, but again repeating it in our head will give us a way to come out of it. So just give me a second. I'll be now text voice. Okay. So the first, when we talk about the things I can control, first of all, I have to understand that I have that power. That power is within me only. No one is going to give me any extra dose of that power. It's within me. So I have the power to change my perspective at any moment. Whatever I'm thinking, if I feel that thought is not pushing me towards positive direction, I have the power to change it. That needs the first step, or that is the first step or first reminder. So I have the power to change. And change what? I have the power to change either, you say, my thoughts or my perspective. See, thoughts are there, but the perspective is what is leading us to the actions at any moment. So it's not that morning only it will be applicable or in the evening. Any moment of the day, the moment I want to take back my power, this can be changed. So this is the first, to make ourselves realize कि ये power मेरे ही पास है. No one is injecting, no one is giving me. I don't have to take it from anyone. It's within me. I have to just revise that. Just have to be back in that spirit. Now, once you realize that this power is within you, now what you will do, you will start responding. But now, response in which form? If you become aggressive, if you become angry, if you are not in your healthy frame of mind, the outcome will not be favorable. So I respond with patience instead of reacting with complaints, because we were talking a lot about complaint today. I respond with patience. Now my response is not immediate. Instead of reacting with complaints. So the idea here is not to complain, basically. The idea is that how we can come out of that zone of complaining, because that is what is draining me down. There was a very beautiful image I recently saw. There were two buckets, water was flowing, one was without any hole and one with all holes around. So all those holes, these complain, blame, excuse, and multiple such things are those holes in our life. How much you pour positivity or how much you pour fresh water, it is going to drain out because the holes are bigger than the flow of the water. So nothing is going to stay inside, exactly like that. So I have the power and I choose to respond in a positive way, patiently. Now, how will you start doing it? Until and unless you trust yourself. So I trust that everything happening in my life is preparing me for something greater, better, whatever you want to say. I trust that everything happening in my life is for my good. But simple also, you can say, is preparing me for something greater, better, for my good. Okay. Yeah. So when this trust is there, when you start believing that this is what this exists, then you will be able to take action in a better way. Now, once you have that trust, you decide that you will respond patiently, and you acknowledge that you have the power. Basically, you say that my mind is becoming calmer and stronger every day. The more I repeat this, my inner strength is actually growing with every passing day, the muscle which is required, because the strength of mind will only help you to work on these steps. So my mind is either becoming or growing calmer and stronger every day. Now, when I say every day, then it gives me that indication, yes, it's a daily process. Basically, these kind of words, when we write, it gives us the idea that, yes, it's a daily process. It is happening on regular basis. It's not that on Monday, I believe that my mind is stronger and calmer, and rest of the days, I'm back to my complaining mode. Basically, it is everyday effort. That's where, and that's why we meet every morning. So it's a daily work. And in the end, where is your focus going? As I said, if your focus is towards the negative, your flow of energy is also wasted. So I focus on solutions instead of problems. I'm looking for solutions, or I choose to focus on solutions. If you want to write the word choose there. Basically, again, problems will always be there. There is never a straight line. Life is up and down. Challenges will come. Bigger, smaller, personal, professional, relationship, health, wealth, money, whatever it would be. Now, it all depends on how you look at it. If you succumb to the situation, it will be defeating. But if you rise above that, you will be empowering yourself. It all depends on us because the same mind is within all of us. But how we perceive the situation, it all depends on us. So the more we use these kind of words, empowering words, that's why affirmations are called as empowering statements. Because the more we are reminding ourselves, the more we start believing on it and then act upon it, which is important. So, on that note, we end today's session. These same affirmations I'll be sharing in the group, and you can implement or amend as per your requirement. It completely, you are free to do that. We continue reading the same book, again, getting more enlightenment, again, revising many old concepts which we have read, so that we are always on track. That revision of these concepts keep on building that momentum, which is very important. Thank you so much. Have a great positive day. Bye-bye. Take care.